Today, I'm going to talk about having it all. Have you ever noticed that the phrase having it all is something we say about other people rather than ourselves? I mean, when was the last time you thought to yourself, boy, I really have it all? It's something we say about people when we're envious of what they have. A beautiful house, two perfect, smart, and smiling children, a dream job, a perfect marriage. But today, I'm going to challenge you to think about the ways in which you can, or already do, have it all. I know what they say about assumptions, but today I'm going to start off by making two of them. First, I'm going to assume that if you're here today, you consider yourself in a career rather than in a job. You've studied library and information science, you've worked in the information profession, and you've joined SLA to engage with your colleagues. This is not just a paycheck for you, it's a career track. I'm also going to assume that if you're here, you've had to give up commitments that you usually are part of and make arrangements for those things to happen without you. You've had to arrange for your mother-in-law to take the kids. You've had to arrange for someone to feed the dog. You've had to arrange for someone to check in on your aging father or go to church and organize coffee hour. You've had to have someone else represent you at town meeting. Our careers are just one part of our busy lives. When people talk about balancing this part with the others, they refer to it as work-life balance, as if 50% of our time is spent at work and all the other things we do are compounded into the other 50% and referred to as life. Our lives are so complex, and thanks to smartphones, Wi-Fi, and other technology, the borders between where work ends and where life begins are getting fuzzier. Ever since I found a framework to put the components of my life into, I've found that it's easier for me to clarify those borders. In 2012, I attended the annual conference of the Association for Independent Information Professionals. SLA member Marcy Phelps gave a talk on getting things done. She explained that she thinks of her life in three areas: business, personal, and volunteer. She even organizes her computer files into folders by the same names. Marcy inspired me to think about how to frame the areas of my life, and they're very similar to hers. So ever since that conference, I've visualized my life into three priority categories: family, career, and volunteering. In the family area, I have my husband, our 3- and 5-year-old sons, our parents, our sisters, and our aunts and uncles. All of these people live within 20 minutes of us, so we see them all the time. But we'll never move, because these people, this village, is helping us raise our children. In the career category, I have a 30-hour-a-week job as the head of information services at a research institute, along with my own business, Knowledge Linking. I purposely chose this less than full-time position so that I could combine the stability of a reliable paycheck with the excitement of being an independent information professional. And in the volunteer area, I have things I do for my children's school, things I do for my community, and things I do for our profession. SLA is where I put most of my volunteering energy. I advise SLA on their social media presence, manage the communications of the social science division, and now I'm coordinating the New England chapter's role in next year's conference in Boston, which I expect all of you to be at. I've got a lot going on. But when I consider day-to-day decisions in light of these three priority areas, I can more easily see where to put my energy. Now, some people rigidly define the borders of their lives. A mentor of mine has hard and fast rules about separating work from life. Phone calls are only taken between 6:30 and 8 p.m. to allow for family dinner before and relaxing afterwards. Work email is never checked once she arrives home, and she'll only get together with friends on Saturdays after she's had time to garden. That's what works for her. I have gone the other way, intentionally blurring the borders of my life in order to maximize the number of things that I can do. So if my boss calls me and says that one of the vice presidents from the American Medical Association is in town, you'd better bet I scramble to find childcare and make that meeting. This is obviously a benefit to my employer, but the benefits go both ways. When my 3-year-old was admitted to the hospital, I didn't think about work for 1 second. Of course, all this flexibility has a price. Whenever anything changes, I have to rearrange 5 people's schedules. I do the kind of mental gymnastics that would qualify me for the Olympics. But constantly readjusting schedules is a price that I'm willing to pay for the ability to prioritize either my employer or my children on any given day. This kind of flexibility in borders is what works for me. What works for you will be different, and you really have to give serious thought to what having it all looks like for you. Once you figure it out, you'll probably have to reassess because your priorities change with different stages in your life. I remember a few months after our first son was born, my husband went for his annual physical. The doctor opened the conversation with, "Let's talk about the big 3. How much are you sleeping? What are you eating? How much are you exercising?" Steve just laughed. None of these things were priorities for us right then. What I want you to remember is this: having it all is not a binary situation. There is no set number of items that you either have or you don't. Having it all means successfully negotiating the borders between your personal fulfillment and your professional ambition. So here's what I want you to do. Think about all of the different roles you play, the people you care for, and the work you want to accomplish. Is there a way to arrange those priorities into a few major categories? Now, once you've got that in mind, you'll have to figure out how you'll navigate the borders between them. You'll spend most of your time alternating between categories, but inevitably, you'll find yourself in the space where those categories overlap. When this happens, do you envision yourself at your happiest or at your most stressed? If the idea of all of your worlds colliding stresses you out, you'll probably want to maintain more rigid borders. You'll have to face the overlap when it happens, but you'll need to spend focused time in each area in order to feel balanced. If the idea of all your worlds colliding is exciting to you, then you'll probably be happier with more flexible borders. You'll spend time in each category, but you'll come to the overlap of them all to be recharged. In a world where we all play so many roles, we are bound to struggle with the borders between them. But if you can figure out what it would look like for you to have it all, you may just discover that you already do.